My wife Debbie and I have had many occasions to experience God's answers to our prayers. And what I wanted to share today I have to say that it began with us an evening over at our friends Rayo and Lisa. And him and I were talking, and I asked him if we could step away and if I could share something with him. And I told him something that was on my heart regarding I felt darkness, I felt struggle, and something that I was about to go through was going to be very difficult, and I didn't know, I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I asked for prayer, and I needed help. This would be late winter, early spring, in say March time frame of '09. We had found out that my daughter had been struggling with drug abuse and Oxycontins and alcohol, and it had become a big problem. She knew that she had to leave the area, the immediate area where she was living, in order to try to get away from it. And but it seemed to follow her wherever she went. She ended up in Florida, where we have some family down there. And I need a minute. So she was near close family. My brother-in-law and his family, he's a Christian. And their family very supportive of us in any dealings with our children if we needed, and prayer support. But Erica was down there, and she was struggling still with her drug abuse, and she hit a low where she knew that she needed to be admitted into a facility that would give her round-the-clock help. There was a facility down there that was fairly close to where she lived, but there was an 8 to 12 month waiting list. And we prayed and prayed that in some way that she could get to this facility, because we'd found out that the recovery rate at the specific facility was better than the Betty Ford Clinic. That it was had a very impressive record of treatment, and we felt that it was important that she get the best treatment that she could get. So after a few days, we had gotten a call that she was actually going to be able to get into this facility, that there was an opening, and we know that God opened this up for her in 4 days, that she could be in this treatment facility. I had a chance to take some military leave and actually go down and be with her. And during that time frame, I had gotten a phone call that my nephew, Matty, had just died from an overdose. I remember it very clearly. We were driving, and my daughter Erica was sitting right next to me, and I picked up the call, and all I could hear on the other end was my mother crying. And that panic that you get when you can't understand what they're saying, but they're screaming and crying. And so I knew something was really serious. Something had happened, very serious. And I think at that point, she took this very, very seriously. She knew what she needed to do. I don't believe that Maddie's death is part of God's blessing, but I do believe that He can use that as a blessing in some way. Debbie and I went down and spent some time with her while she was down there, and we celebrated as she achieved her small milestones, as she'd been there for a certain number of weeks. Or her birthday or whatever, we'd find an excuse to go down and help her or support her. It wasn't anything that Debbie or I were going to do that would get her through this other than prayer. And I know that was what got us through. I believe that helped Erica get through. So we were just thankful and praying that this is something that she could stick out and get through, and she did. Today, she's remained clean. She's rededicated her life as a Christian. She's been hired as an administrator at the Watershed. It was another drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. She just loves it there. She is able to help other folks that have been in the same situation that she's been through. I'm Mark Ricks, and I'm living proof that God still answers.